When I was 12 years old, my parents moved us into a small house outside of Portland. The place wasn't huge, but it was cheap, quiet, and surrounded by trees. My parents loved it immediately. I hated it the second I walked inside. Something about the house felt wrong, especially my bedroom. It sat at the end of a narrow hallway upstairs. The room itself looked normal. Pale walls, wooden floor, a small closet beside the window. But every single night I felt like someone was watching me from under the bed. At first, I thought it was just childish paranoia. I tried ignoring it, but the feeling kept getting worse. Every night around 3 a.m., I'd wake up suddenly for no reason, and every time I woke up, I heard breathing beneath me. Slow breathing, like someone trying very hard to stay quiet. The first few nights I stayed completely frozen under my blanket, too scared to move, too scared to look. Then one night I finally gathered enough courage to check. I jumped out of bed, turned on the lamp and looked underneath. Nothing. Just dust and a few old boxes. I laughed at myself after that. I thought maybe my imagination had been messing with me. But things only became stranger. A week later, I started noticing scratches on the wooden floor beside my bed. Long scratches, as if something heavy had been dragged out during the night. I asked my parents if they noticed them. My dad barely looked up from his newspaper. "Probably rats," he said. But the scratches kept getting closer to the door every morning. Then came the whispers. The first time I heard them, I almost convinced myself I was dreaming. A voice whispered softly from under the bed, "Don't look down." I sat upright instantly. My entire body went cold. I listened carefully. Silence. Then again, very softly, "Don't look under the bed." The strange part was, the voice sounded terrified, not threatening, afraid. The next morning, I told my mom everything. She smiled nervously and said horror movies were affecting my sleep. But that night, my father checked under the bed himself just to calm me down. Nothing was there. After that, my parents became irritated whenever I brought it up, so I stopped mentioning it. But I began sleeping with my lamp on. 3 nights later, I woke up at exactly 3:14 a.m. The room was dark. My lamp had switched off by itself. Then I heard movement beneath the bed. Slow scraping sounds, something shifting directly under me. I grabbed my blanket tightly and stayed still. Then, a hand slowly emerged from beneath the bed. Pale fingers curled around the edge of the mattress. I nearly screamed. But before I could move, another hand suddenly shot up beside it. Then another. Too many hands, all pale, all thin, grabbing the mattress from underneath. The bed began shaking violently. I jumped backward and ran toward the bedroom door, but it wouldn't open. Something was holding it shut from the other side. Then I heard the whisper again, this time directly beneath me. "Please don't look under the bed." I was crying by then, terrified, and somehow that voice still sounded scared, not evil, scared. The shaking suddenly stopped. Complete silence filled the room. Then slowly, something began crawling out from under the bed. I could hear its bones cracking as it moved. I squeezed my eyes shut. The smell hit me first, rotten and wet, like mold mixed with dead animals. Then I heard breathing, inches from my face. Heavy breathing. I forced myself to open my eyes. Standing beside the bed was a little boy, maybe my age. Pale skin, sunken eyes, wearing old striped pajamas. He looked terrified. Tears rolled down his face as he whispered, knows you can see me now." Before I could speak, something grabbed him violently from underneath the bed.
Where the stair of Mary.
The boy screamed as he was dragged backward into the darkness below. I finally screamed too and managed to unlock the bedroom door. I ran into my parents' room crying hysterically. My father stormed into my bedroom with a baseball bat. The room was empty. Nothing under the bed. Nothing at all. But on the wooden floor beside the bed, fresh scratch marks covered the floorboards, and written across the wood in deep, crooked scratches were 5 words. "He made you look down." My parents blamed stress and nightmares after that. But things became worse. Every single night, I heard the boy crying beneath the bed, sometimes whispering for help, sometimes screaming. And every morning, the scratches moved closer to the bedroom door until one night, the crying suddenly stopped. For the first time in weeks, complete silence filled the room. I remember feeling relieved. I thought whatever haunted the house was finally gone. Then I heard a new voice beneath the bed, my own voice, softly whispering, "Don't look under the bed."